readiness level today, and also how we will use it in the evaluation and progress definition for the BioPhoT projects for those who received funding and who will start the project implementation. This is very valuable. For others, it's also valuable because even if you are not in the project who is executing this methodology, you can use also in any other projects, but it's more valuable for those projects which you are aiming for commercialization. So also if there are people from technology transfer office, and this is also very valuable for you because this is what you can use this methodology also to evaluate other projects for their commercial potential, and also helping the teams to map out what they actually need to do to progress further towards commercialization of their research. Yanis, so I think I have access to share my screen. Let me check it out.
Very good.
So can someone tell me that you see the full screen?
Yes, no, it's full screen, all good.
Okay. So today we will have basically two parts. The main part will be a general information and some more details about methodology and how it can be applied. And the second part will be Q&A session. What I ask you, you can write your questions directly in the chat while I'm presenting, and then we will try to go through at least the most of the questions if we have time. I see the timing is not correct because we need to start at 2, not 10 a.m. Sorry for that. But yeah, we will try to answer most of your questions after the presentation. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into the methodology. So this comes from Sweden. It was developed in the Royal Institute of Technology in Sweden. And the aim was to, actually it was developed for their technology transfer office called KTH Innovation, who had problem that they have also these research projects and they wanted a very simple method to track, visualize, and guide their scientific research, the teams from very early stage into innovation on the market. And basically this is what we are going to do also in BioPhoT. That's why I was telling that this is very valuable for technology transfer office managers from our universities and research institutes. But what is the main purpose of the innovation readiness level methodology? So there's different things. First, you can communicate better between researchers and technology transfer offices and business people. You can create roadmaps for your research, how to make them more mature, how to translate these technologies into commercially viable technologies later. Also, balanced development. This means that you basically understand that it's not only about that we need to develop technology further, but we also need to look at the market, the customers, think about business model, about how you finance your research and innovation, so on. And also, of course, what we will be using in BioPhoT is for the coaches and mentors to have the same language also speaking with research teams, so both sides can speak the same language and use the same communication tool. Also, what KTH uses is for the teams from one side and from other side for the coaches and mentors. So for teams, it's also about speaking similar language, understand what kind of things we need to develop and what we need to think about when we develop our research into commercially viable innovation. And also for mentors to have also the same structure, so we can assess the project at certain point. We can understand what project needs to be doing, what are the next steps to be taken in order to get more mature, and so on. And organization level, yeah, what we will be using BioPhoT, I will show later, is also for the screening of how actually our funded projects are doing in those 12 months of the implementation. But also for, let me put the screen away. Also for the teams itself, the KTH says that the biggest win is basically for the teams, like the research teams, that helps the team, because in our projects, some teams has also business developers, some has industry partners. So basically it's to communicate in the same language as all different team members, and also to help teams plan better and align with their aims, so what they need to achieve. And if we look more in depth about the KTH innovation readiness level, so in general, there are 3 key dimensions, how they say, of how we can guide with innovation readiness level. So the first one is to basically help to visualize and measure where we are. And what is important to understand that mostly, I mean, we and researchers, you also, we all speak about technology readiness level, which we usually know the best, but in also technology commercialization, you need to think about other aspects and topics, and this method gives you additional 5 different aspects to think about. And how we call it, it has like 6 legs, so technology readiness level is only one of the 6 legs. You can see there's customer readiness level, funding readiness level, team readiness level, intellectual property readiness level, and of course business model readiness level. And we will take a bit closer look on all of these aspects, but in general I can say that it's very straightforward, and it's very easy to understand how this technology, how this innovation readiness level methodology actually works. So another dimension is to be, let's say, to communicate easy about all these 6 aspects or 6 legs that I mentioned earlier, and basically to establish like a common language to explain and assess where we are with our innovation at a certain period of time. And in that sense, KTH IRL methodology for each of these 6 legs that I showed in previous slide, they have a scale from 1 till 9. So all these 6 are in scales, and each scale has its own quite detailed description. So basically, for us, sorry, can you please mute yourself?
Es gan tikko pamodos, man bija brokastis, man 7 no rīta.
Okay. Bet jā,
Labi
lūdzu,
zināt.
noslēdziet. Labi zināt, yeah. Okay, so yeah, and the third dimension is basically to give a guidance and structure, okay, what we need to do in order to increase the readiness level in all these, let's say, 6 legs or 6 dimensions that has innovation readiness level concept. And for that, there is a explanation of each scale meaning, and not only like in one sentence, as you can see here on the screen, like what is business readiness level 9, for example, this, but I will show you also there is also scale and also a much detailed bullet points under each of these levels that really explains what it means. And it's not only explaining, but it also gives you an understanding and actually potential tasks, what you need to do if you want to get to the next level. Or also when we do assessment, then we also can check very easily, are we at that level? Because if we are at certain level, then it means that we have to answer and have to be completed all the bullet points that are describing this specific level, but I will show you later how it looks. So, and now if we go to mentors work and BioPhoT in relation to KTH Innovation Readiness Level and our platform innovation projects. So mentors are appointed already now for those 40 projects that got funded in our first call, and we will help you to guide and advance through the project development process. And this is where this KTH Innovation Readiness Level comes in. That's why we are having these this training today, just to explain, so we are all on the same page and understand what does it mean and how this process is organized. And if we speak about where the KTH Innovation Readiness Level will be applied, I will remind, maybe some already knows, but for mentors and for you, the team leaders and teams, we will have 3 evaluations during the project implementation. So on the first meeting, we will do the initial evaluation. It means we will go through, I will show later, through each of these six legs, so to speak, and then go through all the scales and understand where exactly the project is at certain period of time. And what is good about KTH methodology, that it doesn't matter whether we don't evaluate are you like better or worse comparing to other technologies. This is not methodology to use for. It's only defines like what is your readiness level at certain period of time, and that's it. And then it also gives you a very precise advice and task. Okay, what you need to do, I don't know, in next months, in next 6 months, in order to progress at least by 1 level further, or maybe 2. It depends on like which level you are and what maybe you have already done previously, or how fast you can actually progress. But this will be actually completely individual project by project case. Also, it correlates very strongly with what was your technology readiness level when you entered our BioPhoT platform. Then, of course, in each, the more mature you are, there will be maybe different other tasks what you need to do. If you are very early, then, for example, there might be cases, for example, when business readiness level is not so important because you maybe need to just validate first, like in laboratory, that technology actually works or not. But that's why then this is where mentors also come in. So we try to understand with regular meetings where you are and at what level, and then guide you like which direction you should also focus on more, maybe for the next period and so on. But in BioPhoT, as it written below, we are focusing, what we need to do is definitely track the TRL, because technology readiness level is one of the platform's KPIs. So I think in all projects, one of the deliverables is actually to increase technology readiness level by +1 in the 12 months. So this will be taken account. But since we are all working on innovations with commercial potential, it is very important to also develop other aspects, not only TRL. Let's get a little bit into the innovation readiness scales and their meaning. Before I do so, I wanted to show you that it's really highly recommended for the teams who are funded, or anyone else who wants to get first like very not long reading, but first understanding about what is KTH Innovation Readiness Level. Then we have this guide, which will be also available after the event, we will send an email update with links. These documents will be put on BioPhoT webpage, and you will have access, and you can take a look. But this guide is very simple. It's also very short, 9 pages. It's not like only text. It's very fast reading material, but it gives like basics and basic understanding. So yeah, let's go just one by one. I will not, of course, read all the level descriptions. They are also quite small here, but the idea is following that in each scale. So we start from 1. Yeah, 1 is like less mature. The 9 is the top maximum maturity. In general, in BioPhoT, I can tell you honestly that we will be working basically from 1 till maybe 5, 6. This is our range, because those higher scales, they are basically already out of the focus of the BioPhoT's, let's say, this technology readiness levels or innovation readiness levels. These are more when you already, I don't know, establish a spin-off, you have company, you have, team and different, you have product, you have customers for the product and so on. And each scale has its like title. And then for you and for us as mentors to very clearly understand, like, what does it mean? For example, hypothesis of possible needs in the market, number 1. Then there is a corresponding a bit more detailed bullet point description, which explains what does it mean and what has to be done in this. So, for example, in this customer's readiness level, like number 1, so what we have to do, or what we have been done, is okay, I think that I have a possible need, problem, opportunity might exist in market. Okay, I have hypothesis that, okay, I have some solution for the problem. I have not even performed market research yet. So, or I have no clear hypothesis, who are customers, what problems exist, hypotheses exist, they are unclear, speculate, there's no proof of analysis, support assumptions. And you can see that this is very early stage, actually haven't had any preliminary desk research or something. But when you progress further, then you can see, okay, there is number 2, we have made some market research, secondary sources. I believe this would be majority of the projects as far as I have seen. Maybe some projects already have received and went further, that they were actually speaking with their own customers or end users and so on. And as you can see, the higher you get, the basically the more mature your team gets in this specific readiness level. Technology readiness level, yes, this is an important one. Actually, this comes from the NASA technology readiness levels. We also have compared it with Horizon Europe technology readiness descriptions, and content-wise, it's basically identical. Here, KTH just maybe made some bit simpler language or added something a bit more for research teams to understand what does it mean. But in general, this is consistent with other known technology readiness levels descriptions. The only specific in our case is that because in BioPhoT we have different areas, especially in life science, medical devices, pharma, and diagnostics, there are other readiness levels, and just for us mentors and also for you as research teams to be more easier to let's say set and assess where at which technology or which readiness level. Look here, this is about technology, of course, which technology readiness level we are. Then we also have a separate document for the double check, like cross check from the KTH given TRL description to cross check with them with the specific ones that we can be sure that really in these specific also topics these technology readiness levels are aligned, because in BioPhoT we need to correctly assess where you are and what's the progress during the project implementation. But this Excel file we will also put on BioPhoT website, and you will be able to see it and download for yourself and check actually before the meeting with the mentor. So for the technology readiness level, where you are, if you are in, let's say, life science, medical devices, and these top fields. And then it's very important thing that you need to know, and that we also realized after the first selection, that there is difference how we used to think where we are in terms of technology readiness level, and how KTH IRL methodology thinks, and this we need to take into account. I mean all of us, both mentors and research teams. So we usually say I am a TRL 3. It means that I am like still working there, but in KTH understanding, if I am still in doing something in this, that let's say TRL 3, as you can see here on example, it means that I have not reached it. We only count the levels who are complete. So I have completed all. I can say that I have done all the subpoints in that level. Then it means that this is where I am. So I have completed first and second level. So I don't say that my technology is TRL 2, but my technology is my technology is not TRL 3, because I have not yet completed, let's say, these 3 points here. I have maybe partially completed something, but I only count the fully completed levels. So I will say that TRL is 2. And that same approach applies to other aspects like customer readiness, business readiness, and so on. So don't be surprised if we mentors say something that, oh no, we think that, or you maybe give higher score, but higher readiness level not necessarily means that you don't need to put specifically higher to make yourself like better or not. It's just that we might say, oh no, you are not a TRL 3 because you have not completed all this, and which is fine, and we just fix like how it is in reality. Yeah, so this you need to take into account. Yeah, let's just also take a look at other readiness level. So this is business readiness level. This would mainly be very low for all the projects. We don't expect it. It may be around 1, basically 1, maybe maximum 2, not further, because this is like later down the road, as I mentioned. For some projects, this might not even change for the 12 months. It can be, because it's like very early stage technology, and that's also fine. But then we can maybe address some other aspects of innovation readiness level, like financing, for example, or team readiness level. IP, intellectual property, very important aspect. What I have seen previously is, I would not say common mistake, but it's more like common practice, how we did in Latvia, because we have like research projects, and then at the end of the project, we have promised to write a patent, and we basically just filling patent application, not knowing much about our target markets, our niche, who are our customers, or maybe who are our competitors. And then we, after maybe a few years or maybe less, when, for example, technology is more mature and we have already gathered some feedback from market, we actually understood that, okay, the initial idea where we wanted to apply this technology, no, it's not our market is somewhere else. And then we realized that, okay, we have not protected some part of our intellectual property in that patent that we submitted maybe 1 or 2 years ago. And then that's makes some problems. Here in BioPhoT, we suggest not to hurry by protecting the intellectual property before you have some first interviews with your potential customers. I know it sounds maybe strange, it sounds maybe incorrect, because then you are limited to disclose everything when it's not yet patented, but yes, and you should not disclose everything. You have to select what is confidential, not confidential, but to increase the value of your patents and intellectual property, you need to first do some market analysis and talking with customers, and then can create talk with patent lawyers and can create correct IP protection strategy, and this is how we suggest to progress in IP, also in IP readiness level here. But it's all actually also written here by each point. You can check like where you are currently, and also these steps are written here in correct sequence, also in relation of your technology readiness level, like your team business readiness level, and so on. Team, yes, team, again, very important aspect, because good team can make a successful commercialization and technology push to market. The bad team can only drown maybe the good idea. So team is very important. I know we also pushed you from the very beginning to have a specific team composition, that you ideally have the business person in the team, or direct connection with the industry or end user who can maybe give you some missing competence or insights. It's very important. That's why also in KTH IRL, one of the 6 legs is about team and readiness level, because when we are at very early stage, maybe this business side is not so important, but as soon as we are building something that will be used and we want to commercialize it, then also other competences comes in, and here it's also just describes each, let's say, maturity level you need to go through in terms of team and competences and alignment. What is important if you, in terms of team, if you think you want to develop this technology through spin-off and do it yourself, for example, or if you don't want to license it to some more mature market players, then in those projects you actually have to understand and find so-called champion very early on. Champion in our terms means someone who has passion, who will actually drive everything, the project itself, the other team members, who will be the major driver for all this technology to market. That is very important, but it usually comes around team readiness level, I think 4, where first at least one it could be more than one champion who is driving, but at least one. Actually, for KTH Innovation, they have also evaluation also is linked with different programs they have, and they have also their own incubation program. None of the projects get through to the incubation if they don't have at least team readiness level 4, meaning they have this champion, and there's a very concrete plan in place what they need to do and what kind of competencies or capacities they are missing and so on. So this is like their own threshold. And funding, funding is important also, that it usually takes quite some time until to secure funding, whether it's public funding, right? When we write projects, and it takes a lot of time until you submit and then you actually get the funding. And the same also with private investors. Usually, it takes maybe half a year. It takes more than a year. So basically, in terms of BioPhoT, I mean, your project is over, and so you actually need to start thinking of other funding sources. What you will be, where can you get funding after the BioPhoT 12 months and so on. So in this is quite also important, and it also depends by case, because in different fields there are also different funding options available. Of course, for everyone, we know interregional, Horizon Europe, EIT, different funds, but there is also very specific on topics related funds, like in life sciences or other technologies. So I just suggest to think about this also from the day one of the, the actual implementation of your innovation projects. So this is about the scales. I think you don't need to worry, because we will discuss the scales more in depth in our mentoring sessions, because we will have to go back and forth in order to establish like where exactly you are at this place. But also there will be another document where you can basically simply download, and it has all these scales as I showed you on screen, available in one PDF, very short again, and we will put it on BioPhoT. Okay, but let's discuss how this will actually be implemented in the BioPhoT case. So what we have, we are very unique situation, because we have an online platform where we will be doing evaluation. This is we are actually the second entity, I think, in the world who will be using this platform. So we are in very unique situation, but it also comes with some issues, because I wanted to show you how this platform works, but unfortunately today we decided to implement some updates and the platform crashed. So I'm not able to show it, but I will show you screenshots how to do it. But you don't worry, because mentors in individual meetings will show you the platform. And basically the platform itself, the researchers as such won't have access. They only usually one person per project, meaning like the project leader or the main researcher will be provided an access info where you will be able to see the evaluation and that part. But we will, I mean, in individual discussions, mentors will show it. We hope to sort out the technical things, I think, today, and tomorrow it will be fine. Okay, so as I mentioned, I explained that there is mentors will have administrator rights, but research teams have read-only rights. And I suggest, if you need like more than one person, I would say like the main person of the project is enough for this, because you don't need to go here and every day and check out, because this mainly be used like 3 times a year, maybe more if mentor decides, maybe for each meeting, but in general it's mandatory at least for the 3 evaluations that we will be doing throughout 12 months projects. And we have also 2 admins from Riga Technical University. Basically, I'm admin too. I can also add users or move, but we better coordinate through Richards and Liana. And okay, so how this will work actually? So we will have, I said it's like 3 steps procedure. So first of all, what we are doing, we are just putting on the scales. Here's the scales of the here's the scales of the readiness levels. Yeah, we will go through each of the 6 readiness levels here. Each level has its own like overview, which is just this general, and then the scale, like I mentioned, from 1 till 9. And then aspects, it means like these more in-depth descriptions of what each scale means, or these, let's say, I can call them also like deliverables. So this needs to be like fulfilled or completed. Then I have fulfilled this this scale number 1, for example. And then we will just go through each of these scales together with the team. And then we will put these first scores, and then in this graph on real time we will show where we are on these 6 levels, and which are like more mature, which are less mature. This is just to fix where we are, where your project is at a certain stage. And the second step is basically when we fix where you are, then we can talk and think, okay, what my project in which scale would like to do in the next, I don't know, 6 months, for example, or the next months. And then we will just go to another section called target and action points, where we here only we as mentors can add also information, where we together with the team will go again through each of these and will determine, okay, for example, customer readiness level, if I want to reach 3, so what I need to be doing. And then I can go again to aspects and what does level 3 means, and then there's clear description, okay, a few bullet points what I need to do. And from that, then basically you as a team, let's say leader or the main researcher, then you can, or business person. I also had some mentoring session where it's like the technical, main technical researcher, and then the business person. So because, for example, customer readiness level, business readiness level, this is more for the business person. But for those who don't have, this is just also an opportunity to learn and think about these aspects. But in general, here we will just go through each, again, these readiness levels, and we'll see and agree with you as a research teams, okay, which levels we will be progressing. We as mentors will suggest, okay, you need, for example, here we have IP readiness level 1. It was a reason why it's 1. And then we can discuss, okay, what needs to be done if we want to progress at least one level further. So in this case, I think it was there wasn't very IP is not defined at all. We don't know yet, but we have some preliminary market research because customer readiness level is already 2. Technology is quite mature. Actually, this is 4. This is quite mature. Business model is not like even the second level, meaning that they have done something, and team and funding, they have also already done something because they are at TRL 3. So basically, this seems like a good thing to investigate and increase further. No, just in this specific case. And then we just go through each of these and decide with team whether we, at what certain period of time, okay, for example, here I put 6 months further, like until next evaluation, which would be also, it's a good milestone to set targets again. Then what we potentially can do, for example, and then we have chosen that we will increase the CTL because the team knows that what they plan to do. They want to go and talk with a few customers, get feedback, then update their potential value proposition, and then that would actually close that level. And so on. We just setting here some clear targets, and also discussing with team and setting some action points. And then team can just write down basically some tasks that you plan to do. And then again, after like a month, because we're planning to have like a monthly meetings, we can then go through these targets and see, okay, where we are, what challenges you have, what maybe support you need extra, and so on. So there is a methodology where we can quickly, both sides can quickly understand where you are and just go through different topics. And don't forget maybe to touch topics like funding, IP, team, customers, and so on. Yeah, and then the third is just to, that's more for our mentors, us, that we just save the work so we don't lose, and team to make notes what to do until next meeting. So yeah, unfortunately I wanted to show you the system itself, but no, this is the screenshots is how it looks like. But from my side, this is it for today. So I think we can open a Q&A session. I will maybe stop sharing the screen. So you please you can write in chat, or maybe you can ask some questions if you have. Don't be shy now. It's a good time to ask like anything what you would need, to maybe some comments or something. Sorry, that was my don't see any hands yet. Yeah, you can write also in chat if you have anything. If you have also maybe questions later, you can write to me directly or to our BioPhoT direct email, and we can of course answer that later. I hope at least in bigger terms everything was more or less clear. But if something is not clear, also I suggest you to ask mentors during the mentorship. That's why we are there for you. So we will also explain again if something is not clear enough. Okay, if there's no more questions, I don't see any raise hands, or I don't see, did I have any, no comments. Okay, I can then say thank you very much for this webinar. Yeah, we have recorded it, so it will be available on website if I'm not mistaken. What I wanted to tell you that today we have opened our second call, so you can it's now officially launched, and the deadline will be 7th of November. And we will have tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Institute of Organic Synthesis, and also available online, we will have the info session about the next call. There will be some changes, some important changes that you need to also know. So please join the call also tomorrow, or ask your institution's representatives who are involved in BioPhoT for this information. But yeah, the new call also is out. Information is published in BioPhoT website, so please apply, or I forward this to your colleagues also to apply. Okay, then, yeah, Jānis, please.
if there's an advertising time, so I will also join. I also want to encourage everyone to join next week, October 15 and 16, for 2 days a pitch training session. This will be very important for those who will join as a BioPhoT and submit their proposals, as well as for those who already maybe won these projects. So it's anyway, to improve your presentation skills, it's always good. So more information in BioPhoT webpage. So I invite everyone next week for pitch presentation seminar. Thanks.
Just add up, I have just copied the links to those both of the events just mentioned, so you can see in the chat a bit in the detail about those.
Yeah, thank you, Anders. Yeah, I see also both. Okay, so yeah, thank you once again for your attention. The recording will be available also, and we will send you, Jānis, right? We will send and follow up email we link to the webpage where you will have access to these documents.
Yes, through the Luma, this registration page, everyone who was registered will get the email, but it will be when we will put everything in place. So I believe maybe tomorrow or next days. Yes.
Okay. I have a question here from Viviana. Tomorrow English too? No, I think not. It will be mainly Latvian. But if you want some more information, you can talk to me or Jānis from our institute, and I will explain everything to you about the new call. Okay. It's okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time, and see you in other BioPhoT events. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Yes, redzēšanos.
Redzēšanos.